Kirsty's Hotcore Summer at Hidden, this one was different. Kirsty's Teletech Hotcore Summer takeover of Hidden in Manchester last Thursday, obviously headlined by herself, and then paired up alongside Princess Elfbar and Willow. So as always, we'll run through a quick review of the venue itself, the atmosphere, the production, the sound system, and then a quick run through of the DJs and how each of them got on themselves. So starting with the venue then, from what I got told when we eventually got to Hidden, I think it's got 2 or 3 floors. Now, from what everyone else was saying, most Teletech events and just events in general are usually held on the second floor or the middle floor, as some people called it. Now, the event that we went to, this Hotcore Summer event, this was actually on the bottom floor, which is called the basement. So you go downstairs, take a left, and then as soon as you open them doors, bang, it's just like one big open room. It gives you that underground type, like grungy style vibe. It's a little bit murky. You've got the neon lights like around the decks. You've got the Teletech sign in the back. Visually, it looks really cool, and it is a really cool grungy atmosphere. I think you can't knock the look and the feel of the place. I think that is pretty cool. Obviously, it was sold out, so as well, it was quite sweaty. Everyone was quite like packed in, but I think that's exactly what you wanted as a venue for that type of sound and that type of event. Only downside to the venue I thought was the toilets were like a spoons type toilets. You had to trek quite far. You had to go through one door, which then had like another 2 rooms, like breakouts type rooms, and then you walk outside to like where the back was and the big smoking area, then be another set of stairs to go up to like the toilets. So the whole toilet setup was like a little bit strange, I can't lie. But yeah, for how intimate it was definitely the right venue. It was definitely the right place to kind of host that style of event, and yeah, I liked the room. The room was good, and the energy in that room was good. However, getting on a sound system and production, for me, I've always said the number one is how an event sounds. What are the speakers like? Like how bassy is it? Can you feel it in your chest? Are we talking over people? That kind of stuff. And for me, that was all off. Like, I don't know what it was about that sound system, about the speakers and audio in general. I don't know if it was literally just coming through them. I'll put a video up on the screen now. Them videos of the speakers that I took when we were there, because they look visually mint. They look really cool, slightly old school style speakers that go with the atmosphere and the kind of visualness of the room. However, you've sacrificed sound quality massively. I think I'm not a dick when it comes to events and stuff, but I did find myself getting a little bit frustrated at the back and towards the sides of, like I said, being able to hear the like sound properly. It was a really, really bassy, so like any vocals or anything like that was getting kind of muffled. You couldn't quite hear it properly, and I was able to like have proper, clear conversations with everyone around me. And I was at times shouting, like, "Oh, hey, turn it up," kind of thing. Even the bouncer walked past a couple of times. I even gave the bouncer a nudge and said, "Look, mate, like, any chance you can just go and have a word and ask him to either nudge it up or do something about the sound." Because, like I say, unless you are right in the mixer or right at the front near where the decks are, it did sound muffled and it was hard to hear everything. However, like I say, on contrast, when it started to clear out a little bit as the night went on, the closer we got to the decks, the better the sound became. So I would say for that last like hour and a half, the sound was mint. You could hear everything. I feel like we're getting to it a bit more because you're not almost like trying to lean in to listen to hear what tracks actually being played. You're How I like to describe it is you're consumed by the music. You should be in it. Should be struggling to speak to your friends that are stood next to you at an event like that. So yeah, the later the night went on, the better it got. However, the sound was like a massive, massive no-no for majority of the night. I think that was the massive letdown, to be honest. However, like I say, from a production point of view, can't really fault the lights. What I always say is, from a lights perspective, that's what I want to see in World Headquarters when Teletech event is on. I think that for me is perfect for that sound and like just that type of venue and event. It was so simple. They literally had like strip lights around where the decks are and around the room, and then behind the DJ itself, it's like a neon Teletech sign in like a bit of a cage. Looks sick. It's super simple and it just adds to that visual kind of experience. So I actually beg if there's anyone from Teletech watching this, please do something like this in Worldies. So opener then in terms of DJs, we had Willow on first. She really set the tone, set the pace. I think brought the right amount of energy. It was quite bouncy. There was quite a lot of tracks that I'd never heard of before as well. So she was really, really good. Princess Elfbar, just as good as when she was in Newcastle on Worldies for that Natavistic event that she played alongside Kirsty with. I thought she was again really, really good. Surprised me with some tracks I'd not heard of. I think she didn't go as heavy as when she was in Worldies. She kept it light, but it was probably because it was building up to Kirsty being obviously the main event almost and going to be playing a little bit heavier. And then Kirsty was just Kirsty. Controlled the crowd. Track selection was fucking spot on. Pure energy, pure gabba. Like, yeah, just love that woman. I think she's class, and it was good to meet her at the end, speak to her for a little bit, and yeah, well, I'll defos see Kirsty. Anytime you see Kirsty on a lineup, you can get excited to what that's gonna bring and what she's got to offer. The crowd was a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest, as well. I feel like that Manchester crowds are always a little bit of a mixed bag. I think just because it's a bigger city, there's a lot more people that have come for like just a bit of a night out as well. It's not just techno heads. I remember saying to this one lad that he looked like Ush, and he was like, "Who's Ush?" And I was just like, "Right, like this is the type of crowd that's here today." Do you know what I mean? Like not actual proper techno heads, people that have just seen an event on at probably a venue that they come to quite frequently. Just thought, yeah, fuck it, we'll have a night out kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like as long as people are still bringing the energy and having a good time and adding to the event itself, then I've got no issue with that. And to be fair, like everyone did do that. The room was full of energy, and I think because of the type of music that it was, you couldn't not like vibe to it and have a good laugh to it and stuff like that. I think again, I'll just reiterate the sound quality. I think people were getting frustrated, and I think I'll be totally honest, is a large part of why it cleared out a little bit towards the end because people were getting frustrated with the sound, not being able to hear it. There was plenty of people like me at the back towards the side saying, "Look, I literally can't hear anything. What is the point?" So other than them people leaving as well, yeah, energy, crowd, top form. Overall verdict, I truthfully was really disappointed with the venue itself. I think I'm still glad that I went, had an amazing time, thought the DJs were class, but the venue was the biggest letdown. I personally don't think I'd return to Hidden unless it was on one of the other two floors or if they sorted the sound system out because the room itself was pretty cool. Loved the layout, loved the experience of that. But like I say, the sound just let it down massively. So I don't think I'd go back unless they sorted the sound system there or did it on a different floor so I could experience what everyone else said Hidden's actually like. So out of 10, I would honestly probably give that like a 6 or a 7. But yeah, if you guys did go to that event, let me know what you thought. Let me know your rating out of 10. If you felt the same about the sound system and stuff as well. And yeah, see you in the next one.